Pete Hegseth could have easily just said, you know what? I did do this. I fucked up. I thought Signal was more secure than it is. Now I know Signal's not secure. And so those text messages that I sent then on Signal, I've learned my lesson. I'm not going to do it again. And we wouldn't forgive him because he should have known that from the beginning. But you guys would, and you'd move past it. And there wouldn't really be any argument anymore because I'd say he's incompetent and you'd say maybe, but he apologized and he learned and I'm going to give him another chance. So there was JD this weekend. He got absolutely roasted online. I'm not going to pick. I do know that today is a sensitive day for our Catholic friends, so I don't want to shit on JD all day. But it was pretty bad. However, we don't have to shit on JD because we've got Pete Hegseth here, our alcoholic Secretary of Defense with no qualifications other than he just hates Muslims and wants to kill all Muslims. That seemed to be enough for Donald Trump. He fucked up again. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth shared detailed information about forthcoming strikes in Yemen in a private Signal group chat that included his wife, his brother, and personal lawyer. His brother, by the way, who for some reason also has a position in the Pentagon. Some of those people said the information Hegseth shared on the Signal chat included the flight schedules of the F-18 Hornets targeting the Houthis in Yemen, essentially the same day attack plans that he shared on a separate Signal chat, the same day that mistakenly included the editor of The Atlantic. Now, if you remember, Donald Trump was like, oh, Pete's doing great. This wasn't Pete's fault. Pete would never do this. Well, it turns out Pete did this. Pete made this group chat, and I think it's just like he just wants to tell all his friends how cool he is. Look, guys, we're doing bombing. And since you know me, I'll tell you. Jennifer, Pete Hegseth's 84th wife, a former Fox News producer, is not a Defense Department employee, but she travels with him overseas and has drawn criticism for accompanying her husband to sensitive meetings with foreign leaders. She's not about to let this guy out of her sight. Like, this is, remember when he's sitting there, he's like, I used to be a bad guy. I used to cheat on all my wives, but not this one. And then she's like, yeah, we'll see about that, motherfucker. And then she just goes with him everywhere. He's not allowed to go anywhere without his wife. She is on his ass. She doesn't trust him either. I don't know why all of America, all the Republicans like, yeah, we trust this guy. His own wife doesn't trust him. We shouldn't trust this guy. In fact, he should just quit now. He sucks at his job. Ever since we launched our offensive strikes on the Houthis, they have shot down 17 Reaper drones. Each Reaper costs about $30 million. And before we say that's just the cost of war, why are we bombing the Houthis again? Why are we bombing Yemen? Has anybody told us yet why we're bombing Yemen? We're just doing it. Is this practice? Why are we bombing Yemen right now? That's $210 million just for some reason to bomb the Houthis. Hegseth's brother Phil and Tim Parlatore, who continues for some reason to serve as his personal lawyer, both have jobs in the Pentagon, but it's not clear why either would need to know about upcoming military strikes aimed at Houthis in Yemen. Unlike the chat in which The Atlantic was mistakenly included, the newly revealed one was created by Hegseth. It included his wife and about a dozen other people from his personal and professional inner circle in January before his confirmation as defense secretary, and was named Defense Team Huddle. The people familiar, don't call it Team Huddle. That sounds like a guy that worked out at a massive corporation. That's one of those meetings you had to go to if any of you have like worked in sales. We're going to have a team huddle. That's just where they tell you that your sales numbers aren't good enough. The people familiar with the chat said he used his private phone rather than his government one to access the Signal chat. So great news, guys. At least it's his private phone. That's better. Apparently everybody can hack Signal. Pete's using his private phone. And the reason he's using his private phone is so that he doesn't have to create records. This administration is going out of their way every single day to hide things from you because they don't want the same thing to happen that happened last time, where their communications became public, and publicly it became very apparent that they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. Then Pete Hegseth goes to the Easter brunch, and he gets confronted by the news. And let me just say this. There is not a fascist regime in history that didn't spend all of their time after they're criticized going after the news. This is what criminals do. This is what guilty people do. This is what Richard Nixon did for about a year. After he was caught trying to sabotage the Democrats, and he just kept calling everybody liars and saying that the press were the enemy and that he was perfect, and the only reason the press was coming after him is because he's doing so great. Let's take aside, get rid of all the stuff that we don't like about Pete Hegseth. What is he doing well? Well, he's trying to get rid of women, LGBTQ people, and black people out of the military. He's really whitened up our military. I guess like if that's the goal, which by the way, it is his goal. Can we also address the fact that when we pointed out that his tattoos were also used by white nationalists, everyone's like, no, that's the Malta cross. He's totally not a white nationalist. He's absolutely a white nationalist. And this administration, ironically, is using tattoos to deport people as the only proof they need, but we can't talk about Pete Hegseth's white nationalist tattoos, right? Anyways, here's Pete Hegseth. I don't know who this kid is, but I think what he sees is, oh, Lord. I think this is his son, and he knows, my dad's about to talk to reporters. This never goes well when my dad talks to reporters, and it doesn't. Here's Pete Hegseth, probably still drunk and enraged at reporters for an Easter brunch.
Happy Easter egg roll, sir.
Hey, we're happy to be here at the Easter egg roll, I'll tell you that. Be with the family, beautiful day. And President Trump is changing the country. And he's creating opportunities for families all across the
Hey, good to see you on Easter. Thank you. It's good to be here. President Trump is the greatest thing that ever did live. He's fixing everything in this country. These guys are such sycophants. It's gross. That's by design. They are required to start every press conference by heaping praise on Trump. Isn't that weird? If you're a normal person, let's say you were the president, you wouldn't want people doing that every time. That's the stuff that sociopaths do. That's a weird thing that these guys do.
President Trump is changing the country. And he's creating opportunities for families all across America to better their lives. And that's what Make America Great Again is all about.
It's all about, he's creating Easter egg hunts. It's a tradition. He didn't do any of this shit. They do it every time. But look around you. Look at all this opportunity for Americans all across the country. Of course, everybody here is a donor. None of these are just everyday Americans. But look at all the great things Trump is doing for our country, like Easter egg hunts.
About the signal chat controversy.
You know, what a big surprise that a bunch of a few leakers get fired and suddenly a bunch of hit pieces come out from the same media that peddled the Russia hoax.
Not a hoax. Why? Also, why are you looking directly into this camera? Right into the camera. What a Fox News host. Russia hoax. What's he doing? It wasn't a hoax. 34 people were indicted. Most of them pled guilty. No hoax. It just stares right into the... Oh, there we go. Somebody clip that.
Hoax. Won't give back their Pulitzers. They got Pulitzers for a bunch of lies.
Truths. They were true. They were true. That's why Michael Flynn pled guilty. That's why Paul Manafort pled guilty. They just pled guilty for they lied about us, but we pled guilty anyways. 1,000% hoax. It can't be 1,000%. It can only be 100%. When you make it 1,000%, that's just because you don't want to believe it's not a hoax. They pled guilty. Somebody explain that. Nobody pled guilty. Jesus fucking Christ. Do we have to do this? All right, Republicans, I'm going to do stuff for you. President Trump has pardoned his first national security advisor, Michael Flynn, who spent years enmeshed in an often bizarre legal war with the government that sprang from a Russia investigation. Great honor to pardon him. Flynn pleaded guilty in 2017 to lying to the FBI about his contacts with Russian ambassador and then cooperated extensively with prosecutors. What happened there? What's that? He brought other people down. Is that not what are you? If he didn't plead guilty, why did he plead guilty? How did that happen? Anybody know? Yeah, he pled guilty. Let's try again.
Pulitzers for a bunch of lies and on hoaxes time and time and time again. And as they peddle those lies, no one ever calls them on it. See,
no, it's all you guys say. It's literally all you guys say. You're still talking about it. Like 8 years later, you still won't shut the fuck up about it. It's on every single right-wing news source. You've said it so many times that the morons in the chat are like, yeah, it's total hoax. You guys have said it so many times that millions of people believe the lie that you're spewing right now. It's all you guys talk about. You're talking about it now. You're talking about it now to avoid the fact that you created a text thread sharing classified information. These are the biggest fucking cowards you'll ever meet. I mean, every Republican defending this is a fucking coward. Every one of you. Just admit it. Guy's incompetent. He fucks up a lot. Like a lot. And instead of answering the question about the fuck up that he made, he's going to take us back to 2017, and he's going to divert the attention. Why don't we talk about these journalists who told the truth, but I say they're lying? They should give their Pulitzers back. Let's not discuss the fact that I don't know how to keep classified information secret. Let's not discuss that.
This is what the media does. They take anonymous sources from disgruntled former employees, and then they try to slash and burn people. and ruin their reputations. Not going to work with me.
You don't have a reputation anymore. You're just a drunk. That's it. Sorry. You don't have much of a reputation to burn anymore. You have sycophants, Trump sycophants, who will defend everything you did and do, and then the rest of the world who knows that you're a blithering, incompetent drunk.
Because we're changing the Defense Department, putting the Pentagon back in the hands of war fighters, and anonymous...
White fighter. You meant white fighters. We're whiteifying the military. We're putting the whites back in charge. We're doing all the things that my white nationalist, white friends wanted me to do. That's what you're doing right now.
Years from disgruntled former employees on old news, doesn't matter. So I'm happy to be here at the Easter egg roll with my dad and my kids, because, you know, this is what we're doing it for. These kids right here.
This is why we're currently bombing people in Yemen. This is why we're bombing apartment complexes in Yemen, because these kids need to know that people in Yemen don't deserve to live.
This is why we're fighting the fake news media. This is why we're fighting slash and burn Democrats. This is why we're fighting hoaxsters.
So
This group, no, this group right here, full of hoaxsters that peddle anonymous sources from leakers with axes to grind, and then you put it all together as if it's some news story. And when we know exactly.
Yeah, but could you tell us about the text thread you put together, or no, you're not going to tell us about that? You're just going to call us, you guys, you're all hoaxsters. This is why we're fighting the war against the fake news media and the Democrats. You want to know why Republicans are so goddamn angry all the time? Because every time one of their people gets in charge, they're like, this is a war. This means war. That's why they hate us. They hate us because every time they fuck up, they just blame us. At what point is this guy ever going to take a little bit of responsibility for the fact that, one, he can't control his alcohol, and two, he doesn't seem to know how to protect classified information? They complain about leakers. You know why people leak? You know why people are anonymous? Because you'll go after them. That's why they have whistleblower protection. Ironically, the same people you fire for leaking information turn out to be the whistleblowers. Why do you think for the first time in their career they're leaking information? The military's just so full of wokesters. Is that what it is? The military just hates Donald Trump so much. They're like, wait, the military really wants Russia to win the wars. They really want the Houthis to win the wars. Is that what this is? I don't know why you guys buy it. I don't know why you're so such big government cucks. You love big government. You trust the government over anything else. You'll trust the government over your own eyes. You guys are still. I showed you that Mike Flynn pled guilty. We can pull up the court documents, and you would still leave. And the next person that says it, you would call them a liar too. There's no truth anymore. It's just they hand feed you a lie and then you repeat that lie. And that's why they're angry. That's why they don't have an excuse for any of this shit. It's why they all sound so goddamn crazy. And the bootlickers, they're out in full force today. Charlie Kirk. I want to point out something here. None of these bootlickers are going to defend what Pete Hegseth did. They're going to do exactly what Pete Hegseth did. And this is the Trump strategy. If any of you watched that Roy Cohn movie, I forget what it's called, but it did a great job. Roy Cohn basically taught Trump, never admit fault and always attack the people attacking you. And Republicans have learned this. And honestly, I just think that most of the world and most of America, they're tired of it. Like, not everybody's willing to just be lied to all the time. Here's Charlie Kirk. When they come after Pete Hegseth, just remember everything they don't want to talk about. Recruiting is up. Morale is up. Standards are up. Efficiency is up. My dick is up. Americans' influence is up. And most importantly, lethality is up. Yeah, why would we talk about that instead of the fact that he's leaking sensitive information? That's what's crazy. Like, how come you guys ever talk about anything other than praise? What's down? Only the influence of neocons and warmongers and the use of military to promote politicized nonsense. That's what they want back. It's not about some signal chat. We would like to not be at war all the time. A lot of us didn't believe Trump when he said he was anti-war. A lot of us didn't believe Charlie Kirk when he said he was anti-war. And the reason we didn't believe them is because we've heard them speak before, and now they're showing their true colors. Like, they love war. They love bombing the Houthis. They love regime change wars. Anytime they have an opportunity to go blow up some Muslims, they'll do it. Because as we must remind you every day, Pete Hegseth's stated goal is to kill all Muslims, all of them. Kill all Muslims. That's just his goal. Greg said there's probably a third signal chat group where he invited the Houthis. Hey, God, that's how they keep shooting our shit down. He's like, we're attacking in 10 minutes. Like, oh, this is going to be easy. Honestly, maybe. The thing is, like, if they're gonna put a report, they can put a reporter in their chat and not know about it. They absolutely could do that. Greg, that was beautiful, by the way. Good to see you, Greg. Other notorious bootlickers are out here. We got Benny Johnson bootlicking. None of them want to address the story here. So all of MAGA, this is Libs at TikTok, Benny Johnson. They're all on like the same. They're on the same email chain where they're just sent the clip and they're like, "Hey guys, Pete Hegseth got caught doing some dumb shit again. Here's Caroline Leavitt's clip. This will prove to everybody that Pete Hegseth did nothing wrong." So here, if you go on Twitter and you check all the right-wingers, they're all posting this clip similarly to Benny Johnson saying, "Caroline Leavitt shuts down all of the fake news about Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth." Okay, well, here's what she said.
The president stands strongly behind Secretary Hegseth, who is doing a phenomenal job leading the Pentagon. And this is what happens when the entire Pentagon is working against you and working against the monumental...
The whole Pentagon's working against Pete Hegseth now. It's fucking everybody, guys. Everybody's against Donald Trump now.
Change that you are trying to implement. Secretary Hegseth was nominated for this position because he is standing up for the war fighter, the men and women in uniform who are putting their lives on the line to protect our country and our homeland. And unfortunately, there have been people at that building who don't like the change the secretary is trying to bring.
Yes, some people aren't racist. Some people aren't white nationalists. And those people are probably upset. And they're like, hey, this guy's turning our military into a white nationalist militia, and then they tell on him. And again, just to point this out, though, she's not addressing anything. She's just saying Trump still supports him, so you guys need to support him. This is not an own. This is literally just saying we still support him. We love him. We're not going to address anything that he did. We just love him.
So they are leaking and they are lying to the mainstream media. We've seen this game played before. The secretary is doing a tremendous job and the president stands strongly behind him.
Yeah, Pete Hegseth is doing a phenomenal job. He's doing such an incredible job. They're shooting down our drones. They can't keep anything a secret, and his wife has to follow him into every meeting because even in classified meetings, she's worried that he's going to like try and fuck somebody. That's what he does. They're just like, Pete, you can't get drunk and try and fuck somebody. Now, in these meetings, you can scream "kill all Muslims" because it's your administration, it's your department, and everybody that you hire also wants to kill all the Muslims. But I'm going to follow you around to make sure that you keep it in your pants. This guy's absolutely incompetent, but more importantly, it's just bootlick after bootlick after bootlick. Then Pete Hegseth gets absolutely rolled here. The Democrats' Twitter tweets out, "Pete Hegseth needs to go." And because like all Republicans, you guys are obsessed with trans people. You just like, look, honest to God, don't be mad about the stuff don't be mad about the porn that you watch. Just accept, it's okay. Just be cool with whatever you watch. You don't have to be mad. Pete Hegseth says, "Your agenda is illegals, trans, and DEI, all of which are no longer allowed at DOD." And Democrats hit him with Pete Hegseth's point of view. They win. They won that one. That's a W. It is a clown administration. Why? What about this has anything to do with what Pete Hegseth did? Apologize. By the way, this was an easy one. This is what Pete Hegseth should have done. But these guys are such egomaniacs, and they work for the Trump administration, so they can't admit when they do something wrong. This leak happened at the same time as the other one. Pete Hegseth could have easily just said, you know what? I did do this. I fucked up. I thought Signal was more secure than it is. Now I know Signal's not secure. And so those text messages that I sent then on Signal, I've learned my lesson. I'm not going to do it again. And we wouldn't forgive him because he should have known that from the beginning. But you guys would, and you'd move past it. And there wouldn't really be any argument anymore because I'd say he's incompetent and you'd say maybe, but he apologized and he learned and I'm going to give him another chance. That's what any normal human would do. If I was advising the Trump administration, that's what I would advise them to do. Just say you're sorry, say it won't happen again and move on. But they can't. They're not allowed to because Daddy tells them that apologies are weakness. You cannot apologize to these people.